What's up, Tiger fans? Welcome back to another episode of Tiger Talk TV. I am the Corey C. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single upcoming episode. You can find us on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to follow the show and tell every Tiger that you know. And remember, when you support Tiger Talk TV, it all helps the cause, which is the I Love Jackson State University. All right, we have a special guest in the building. We're still talking Jackson State, Alabama State. It's the Super Bowl of the SWAC so far this season. And this guy, I don't know what to call him as far as a title. He's a man who wears many, many hats. So I'm not even going to try to give him a title. Khalil Stewart, welcome back to Tiger Talk TV.
Hey, I saw the email and I had to get back on here. It's a different year.
Absolutely, man. We knew we could count on you, man. And you keep it real. That's one thing we love about you. You keep it real. And you're passionate about your Alabama State Hornets like we are about Jackson State. So we wanted to bring you back on. How's everything going? I know you stay busy, but how are you doing, man?
I actually just got back from women's basketball SWAC media day today.
Okay.
Got to go back up to Birmingham tomorrow to do the men's basketball media day. But everything is basketball media kind of snuck up because we're like right in the heat of football media. Of football. And it's like, I'm not ready for basketball just yet.
Not yet. Man, so you're going 2 days in a row. How far is that? What's that drive?
About an hour, 15.
Okay. So it's not bad. All right, well, we're glad you could squeeze us in, fit us into your schedule, man. We want to hear about this Alabama State team, man. We know our homecoming was last week. And then this week you head to Jackson for Jackson State's homecoming. And the biggest game in the SWAC so far this season, and a chance to take control of the East. So what's the vibe like around campus?
It's a lot of excitement, a lot of feeling like I've been here 4 years as a student, and 3 years as a student, and this is my second year as a staff member, so 5 years in total. We're talking about a lot of excitement because we've never seen an offense this explosive. We've never had we've had some pretty solid quarterbacks come through that are solid and got the job done for the most part. But this offense right now, it's exciting to watch. Alabama State is known for what? Being a defensive team. Like that's been our calling card for forever. But now it's like we're averaging 40 points a game. We talked last year, what we averaging like 14, 17. And obviously circumstances caused that, but we're talking about explosive offense is sexy to watch. Everybody loves to watch the points run up, and it's just been a buzz, no pun intended, since that UAB game because Andrew Body, Jalen Jones, like it's Coach Robinson, is bought in, and the whole fan base we're lined up behind Bama State football, and we're excited.
I can tell. 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in the conference for the first time since 2014. You already knocked off FAMU. That was a team that was picked to finish ahead of you. And then you went toe-to-toe with an FBS opponent. So you feeling good about the season so far?
Absolutely. I could argue we should be 5-0. Defense gets a couple stops in the UAB game. We were leading 28-17. And then, things happen. Referees start getting involved. Y'all know about that things start happening. But, overall, I like where we're at. You never want to peak too early, but I think we're peaking at that right time. And, it's a lot of football left to be played, even beyond this game.
Yeah. Before the season, has someone told you that you'd be where you are heading into this Jackson State game? Honestly, would you have believed it? Now, take the fandom glasses off. Just honestly, would you have believed that you'd be right here?
I don't offensive production wise, no. As far as the placement we're in, where this game had to the rubber had to meet the road, and this is going to be a big determining factor game. Yes.
Okay.
But I won't say that I thought we would be sitting here and we would be averaging 40 points a game. I thought that we could be a very good team as like years past. But Jackson State and Alabama State are literally not head and shoulders over the conference. Like we're feet and shoulders over every team in this conference. And, it's a beautiful thing to watch. So, not all the way, but I'm excited we're here.
Other than the offense, what's the reason for your optimism?
Other than the offense, I have to say that I think Coach Robinson has found himself as a head coach, right?
Okay.
Him stepping into the mantle, He's got a he's understanding, like, obviously he got hired he never coached before. It's not a non-traditional head coach.
Yeah, yeah. It was a controversial hire as far as his experience, to say the
Right.
least.
And you're talking about this is year 4. This is the year that everything is supposed to come together. And you've seen Bama State. We've got better and better and better, and the trajectory is going up every single year. So I think that's a lot where my excitement comes from. Coach Robinson, he's the only obstacle that he hadn't accomplished is beating FAMU. Even if you go back to the Jackson State game, I mean, I think him and TC are 1-1 since TC's the head coach. So I mean, they when we go there, we beat y'all. Y'all come here, y'all beat us. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So I think experience from the head coach, from Coach Robinson, and just the fact that I think that we have a few guys on the defensive side of the ball that have been in the system a while. They understand the magnitude. We got some transfers, and I think that just the momentum is what's getting us right now, I believe.
Coach Rob, his 4th season, and he's already the longest tenured coach in the SWAC, believe it or not. And he's had a winning season every year, while most new head coaches in the conference during that period, they've struggled and been fired. And you've been right there to see it all. I think you got there maybe the year before he got there. So what do you think have been some of the keys to his consistency there at Alabama State?
I think it starts with, I was talking to one of the alums that was in school at the same time as him being much like TC. When you have those homegrown guys that are alums and you have the buy-in, like, okay, I was in school at the same time as Coach Robinson. I was in school at the same time as Coach TC Taylor. That is a lot easier to buy into than going to get a guy, for that position. Because being the head football coach, you're almost as important as the governor when you talk about Alabama. Like, you are just that important. And especially in the South. So I think Coach Robinson's NFL philosophy, the way that he's developed and grown, I think he would even tell you he didn't know everything his first year. He didn't know everything his second year. Third year, things started really starting to turn. And then this year, I think it's more of a strength is in the routine is what I'm saying. Is everything is routine. And I think that's what's changed a lot for Coach Robinson. He stuck to that routine. And a lot of these players now that are on this team, talk about the guys that are performing right now, Jalen Jones, Ja Harrell, Asa Gray. These guys have been here with Coach Robinson for 3 years now, some even 4. So they understand what his expectation is, and they're veterans at this point.
One thing about Coach Rob is he's been able to win in different ways. Like we said, last year, the team could barely score any points. Obviously, we know the quarterback situation, but one off the strength of the defense. This year, the offense is carrying the team. What would you say is the identity of a true Eddie Robinson team?
Running the ball and playing defense. I mean, as much as people want to talk about how great Andrew Body is, and as far as passing the ball, I think he always wants to stick to his bread and butter. We want to run the football. Because when you can run the football, you can dictate the pace of that game. I think you look back at that FAMU game and you see that we were able to run the ball successfully, and we controlled the cadence, we controlled the rhythm. And once we showed that we could run the football, everything else kind of fell into place. The defense locked in, and when you can keep the defense off the field for so many possessions, you give them a time to rest, right? Much like Jackson State, like I think that they have these offenses almost play each other to a T. Both the offenses want to do the same exact thing. I mean, you look back at last week, both of them ran for 388 yards. Like, both of them. So they want to get the same thing, but the identity of a Coach Robinson team is running the ball and defense. He loves passing. I mean, he likes being able to score points, but he said he would prefer a 9-6 game over a 40 game any day of the week.
That's a defensive player. He played on the defensive side of the ball, so not surprised.
Right.
Tell us about Andrew Body, though. We know what he can do on the field. Obviously, that jumps off the screen. But has he taken on a leadership role with the team? And if so, is it more of a vocal leader or more lead by example?
It's a combination of both. Andrew's been a leader since he stepped on the campus.
Okay, even when he wasn't playing?
Yeah. He was at every game. He was coaching up when Kareem stepped in, whoever was in a quarterback, he was coaching them up on the sidelines that whole run. Even while he's sitting over there in the sling, arm, you can't move it at all. Andrew he's like your second head coach. That is Andrew's mentality. And his leadership style is he's a vocal leader. leading by example. I think when you see a guy, Coach Robinson mentioned this earlier this season, when you talk about Andrew's story, right? The last 2 years, last year, obviously he got injured. The year before that, at Texas Southern, he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
That's an underdog story you're rooting for. He is playing some of the best football of his life right now. And that's on the field, but off the field, his leadership abilities have grown. And I think sometimes you being able to see the field from the sidelines and not being involved in it, it changes your perspective. And he obviously got an opportunity to see, okay, this is how my team needs me. They don't need me to be, Jalen Hurts or Cam Newton the whole game. Sometimes they need me just be like, dump the ball off, manage the game. So I think that's the beauty in Andrew Body.
We talked about the offense struggling last season, and of course, that had a lot to do with the quarterback carousel because of the injuries. But this season, we talked about the 40 points a game, but that's good for number one in the SWAC as far as scoring offense. Is that mainly due to having Andrew Body, or could you attribute it to anything else?
I think you have to give Coach Barnett and the offensive line a lot of credit. Our offensive line is not getting a lot of credit right now. I mean, because offensive line is not your typical sexy position, right? You're only calling their names when they're jumping off, when they're holding somebody, they're having a false start, face mask, any kind of penalties. The offensive line is dominant, right? And a lot of these guys it's essentially almost the same offensive line coming back from last year. Okay. When they are able to set the tone in the trenches, I think that's any football team. If you're able to set the tone up front, you're able to dictate the pace of the game. And I also think the fact that Coach Barnett is getting our receivers an opportunity to play one-on-one. Jalen Jones he's been here 3 years, but now this is second year in the same system, and his ability to get out in space and get guys in one-on-one coverage, and all he has to do is make you miss. That's something that nobody in the conference, I don't think, can stop him like in clear space. Much like I'm sure, for example, with y'all with Travis Terrell, when you get him in space one-on-one, I'm taking my offensive guy over yours. So it's about creating those mismatches and creating advantages for your offensive players to really execute the game plan. So I think Coach Barnett and also the offensive line.
3 of those offensive linemen were preseason all SWAC. 2 on the second team and 1 on the first team. But one of those guys, he's missed the past couple games, and you guys still haven't missed a beat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as that running back room, I know Body led the team in rush in the first game, and he's still one of the leading rushers. But I know you have several guys who get it done. Yeah. Several guys, though. Talk about some of those guys in that backfield and what the differences between them. Because I know you have a short yardage back, you have a guy in space, so kind of go over the differences between them.
It's crazy. I was doing the coaching show with Coach Robinson last night, and I was like, it feels like it's a running back by committee. And it is, but it really feels like any one of those guys could be the guy on any given day, right? I think when you talk about, usually when you hear running back by committee, like you said, you have your receiving back, your short yardage back, and then your every down back. Mm-hmm. And typically those guys, your receiving back can't play all 4 downs. Your short yardage back can't play all 4 downs. You usually use him in goal line situations. I think we have guys that can play first down, second down, third down, and even if you got punched in the goal line, they can do that. All of our guys are explosive. They can make plays in open space. They can make you miss. And, you talk about running for 388 yards as a team. That's not one man. That's 4 different guys. And then you throw Andrew Body in there, who's just as much of a threat running the ball. You talk about situations like the RPO, it's pick your poison. Either you're going to build on my running back or you're going to watch Andrew Body, break one and go up the sidelines.
Talk about the emergence of Jalen Jones. I know he's been there for a few years, but this is his coming out party, really just breaking through. Is it because he's just been putting in the work and it's finally his time, or you think last year he didn't have that consistent quarterback play, so he didn't get to shine? And I know he went to Coach Robinson in the offseason and said, I want to be the guy. I'm going to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. I think with any receiver, right, if you don't have if you have inconsistency at that quarterback position, Andrew Body throws the ball different than Kareem Key. He throws the ball different than whatever quarterbacks we had playing last year. The ball may come out different. The spiral may come out different. The timing is different. I think when you're talking about building chemistry, Andrew Body and Jalen Jones and all the receiving core, really and truly, they spend time after practice every single day. Every single day. And that includes the offseason. They were spending time with each other, really building that rapport, building that chemistry. And it kind of goes back to when I was talking about with the fact that Andrew was able to watch the game from the sidelines. At that point, when you're watching the game from the sidelines, you're essentially a coach because you're seeing the game from a different perspective. You're seeing that, okay, Jalen can do this, or Ajay can do this, or Asa can do this, and it's a different type of field. Jalen is one of the most explosive receivers as far as, you know, hitting the hole. He can make you miss. He can burn you deep. He kind of reminds me of, I don't want to say Tyreek Hill, but the SWAT version of Tyreek Hill, because he's small but he's quick and he can make you miss the open field. And he's a Birmingham kid, so I've kind of known about him. Just like, I don't know if you remember Keyshawn Johnson, we had.
Absolutely.
They came from the same high school. So he's an explosive receiver, and I think he's definitely put in the work. And I expect him to hopefully have a big game this weekend. But think defense, great defenses and great defensive coordinators, I think you would be crazy not to double.
Yeah.
Up next, part 2 of our Alabama State preview with Khalil Stewart. Check the description for the link. If you enjoy our content and appreciate what we do, kindly consider donating to the channel.